Okay, we are live. So let's start with our first question. Talking about risks, the number one is think of 5 words that come to your mind when you hear the word risk. Mm, I think usually about danger. I think they're a little bit of connected. Also a fear, a little bit. I think they're related too. And courage. The other two ones I think I will pass because I don't have in my mind right now. But I think risk is really related to those 3 words because it's a challenge. Usually about danger. I think there.
It's okay.
Isn't it your YouTube? It came up. It happens to sometimes it happens to me. I don't know what to do. It just pop up and I have to close. And I think I cut the live. I stopped broadcasting. I'm not sure.
Let me see.
No, it's still working here. Like when you close the tab, it doesn't stop live.
Even if I close, it's still broadcasting.
Yes.
So
it's good. Yeah.
No, it's okay. So that's it. What you guys think? You can choose who wants to go first.
Okay, I can. I was thinking of challenge first of all. I think we're gonna answer it in the next ones. But I'm not good at risking stuff. I like to be in the comfort zone. So challenge is definitely a word for me. Fear. I will share a verb too that is face, not like I think we need to when we have risks, we may need to face things. Maybe I can also say insecurity and anxiety. I think these are words for me. Insecurity and anxiety. That's it. Because I feel anxious when I need to take risks, and insecure too. That's it. And Jumel.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal your words, Giovanna and Bruna, because I also think about fear, courage, and challenge, like Bruna said. So these are three words that come to my mind. And in my case, I also think about mess, because I think every moment I take the risk for something, everything becomes a mess, because you leave your comfort zone. And usually when you take risks, you also break your routine, the things you are familiar with. So it becomes a mess. So it's a question, a word that comes to my mind too.
Nice. Hi, Leander. How are you? This is your first time in Talk and Talk?
Hello, no, this is my first week, but not first time.
Okay, so you know the dynamic.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Can you present yourself for us before we continue?
I'm Leander. I'm from Manaus. I'm married 24 years. I work with data analysts, and that's it.
Okay, nice. We're already started the conversation. We answered the question number 1, so feel free to read for us and answer it. Okay.
Can you send the question in chat?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have to resend. I know. Okay, just one moment. Today we're talking about risks. Let me know if you can see the questions.
Risk. Oh my God. Drink and drive. river, my God. It's food who that it's food who not healthy for you in places like stranger place. Oh, I think it's three.
Yeah, it's a difficult question. I think it's interesting because you talked about a situation that can be risky, right? And we already talked about some words that are really related. So really nice that you bring this up. The second one, are you a risk-taking kind of person, or are you averse to risks? Mel, can you start and then choose someone else to go?
Yes, I'm definitely not a risk-taking person. Before taking a risk, I analyze many times the situations, the possibilities, the possible results, and everything I have to go through to reach what for example, I have as a target or goal. So taking risks for me is not something common. I analyze, I reanalyze, I measure the pros and cons, if it's going to pay off, everything I'm gonna have to face. So no, I'm not a risk-taking person. And about you, Eliander, are you this kind of person, risk-taking?
I take risk every time. I like living situations who I'm uncomfortable. I like the adrenaline. I like the feelings at the risk, but not risk die. Risk is with who risk who holds our belly.
Nice. I'm going to answer it. I think it depends for me. I think for some things I'm really risk taking, but for other things I'm like averse to risks. Like investing, I'm not really kind of investor who invests in dangerous kind of investments. So that's an example. But for other things, like for adventurous experiences, I'm like, I just go for it. I don't really think, because if I think too much, I get in the zone where I'm averse to risk. So I don't think to do. So it depends for me. And what about you, Bruna?
Yeah, that's a good point. If we think so much, we don't act, right? This is a good point. But I am not a risk taker. I think it's not that I am averse to risks, but it's just I always try to be really careful, and to start things slowly, like, when you go to the beach and the ocean is cold, so you like start entering small steps, like just to get used to the coldness. That's how I deal with my risks, like try to be careful. That's it.
Great analogy.
I agree with depends. I was talking about jump to airplane. I don't know the name. Paraquedas, bank jump. I talking about these risks, not financial risks. I think we can start slowly and bigger slowly.
Exactly. Start slowly and then we can grow up and be comfortable. Okay, the third one, Bruna, can you read it for us?
Of course. What is the biggest risk you have ever taken? I think it was admitting to myself and to my parents. It's not a huge risk, guys. It's something small, but I think I've never taken huge risks, but something I faced, it was that I needed to tell my parents I didn't want to keep the college I was in. Like, it was my last semester and I just couldn't stand going to college anymore, seeing the place, it was making me so bad. And I needed to tell my parents that I didn't want to finish the course. Like, there were like 6 months left, and I needed to tell them it was really, really hard. I think this was the biggest, but it isn't anything dangerous. I think I've never tried anything too adventurous, too dangerous. And Juji.
Nice, but I think it takes a lot of courage to do what you did, and if it makes us happy and it's the best decision, I don't think there's any problem of doing this. But I think it's a big step, not a risk, but a big step. For me, I don't know. I can think of like a risk that it involves dangerous activities, because I was with a friend and we decided to swim to a little island that we had close to us in the beach. So for the first moment, I thought it was really close, it was easy. But when I got to them in the middle of the way, I was like, oh my God, I can't stand swimming anymore. So it was started to be a little bit risky. But in the end, I think it couldn't got worse, and I get injured. I fell when I got to the Iceland. Finally, I fell, and my feet. I don't know how to say machuquei. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyways, so it was a little bit risky then, but in the end, it was okay. Everything got really okay. What about you, Melissa?
Yes, I can see you really took a big risk by doing this. I can't remember now any big risk I've taken. Not coming to my mind. As I said, I'm not a risk taker, so I do the math before doing something. I always analyze. So if I feel I think it's not going to work, if I feel there is the possibility to go wrong, I don't do it anyway. So, but I cannot remember any situation now to tell you. I'm sorry. And how about you? Sorry, Giovanni. Yes, please.
It's okay, Eliane. What about you?
Oh, the biggest risk fee, travel to other states to search my wife for marriage and without money, and then start one business, taking very money in bank. We started agribusiness, creating 10,000 chickens and planted 1,000 passion fruits, and left. After 2 years, we left it all to start in technology, thinking nada a ver. I don't speak nada a ver in English. And this is more biggest risky way I take.
It is a big risk too. certainly. And the next question, does your job involve taking risks? I think it's a little bit related to what you said. And how do you how does your job involve risks? And do you consider your job to involve high or low risks? Do you want to go first, Amanda, to tell us a little bit more?
In moments, no. Is low risk is just bem special, bem calm, relax.
Right. For me, I think it's a low risk too. I don't think it involve big risks, but I think I work with sales, so it can be a little risky sometimes. And what about you, Melissa?
Yeah, my job is exactly the opposite. It takes no risks at all, because what I do depends on the approval of the law. So everything is predicted up front, because I can only accept something if it's predicted in the law. So there are no ways to take risks. Everything has to be written. All the requirements have to be there, and I can only follow the law. So it's quite the opposite, you know. There are no room for risks in my job.
I imagine you liked it because you're not really risk taker, right?
Yes.
So it's so it's good for you. It fits perfectly. What about you, Bruna?
I still couldn't reach an agreement in my mind if teaching is about taking risks or not. I would say no, because I usually plan things. I think when we teach, we of course things will never go the way we expected. Sometimes things can change in the middle of the class because of a question, but I think considering my life, and my perspective of risk, I can foresee some risks, in the class, like questions. I can get ready to this stuff, but like considering my physical, my body, like physical, not health, physical stuff, I think I don't take a lot of risks. It's not a risky job. No.
All right. And the next one, have you ever considered doing a job that is full of risks? That is a hard question too. I have to think about it. Have you ever, Elinder?
No more. No more.
Yeah. I think I never consider if I stop to think about it. And you, Bruna?
Never. I think I wouldn't. I would get so anxious, that I think I wouldn't do a good job. But like considering jobs that are full of risks, like I don't know, some examples, like maybe a doctor, engineer, or constructor. I forgot how to say pedreiro. This is risky, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is really risky. Or the ones who work with sports, some kind of risky sport.
Yes. No, I've never. No.
And you, Melissa?
Yes, I think I feel like Bruna would never, because it's not my way. As you said, I'm not a risk taker. And like you said before, Giovanna, for example, with financial investments, I cannot take risks, big risks, So I wouldn't be able to perform the job properly because of that.
Right. Oh, I remember one. I once thought about being flight attendant, but I think it's a little bit risky if you think that the plane can fail, but it's only in your mind. It's not really a real thing. So I don't know. Maybe. um, the next question, Eliane, could you read it for us? Is the sixth one.
Would you ever risk your life for anyone? How about your money? You answer?
You can go. You can go.
I don't understand that at all.
Like if let's think about a situation, a dangerous situation. If someone points a bullet for you, do you take that bullet for someone, or do you ever lend someone a great amount of money to help that person who's in risk? Do you risk your life for someone or your money? I think it's in this sense. Now,
if I take a risk for anyone, yes, my sister, my wife, I take this risk. And how about my money? Yes, for this person, yes. Mother também, mother too.
right. Yeah, I think it depends of the person. I think
Yeah.
like someone really close to me, I think I will risk my life or my money, but really it depends of the person. Really has to be someone I love a lot. And you, Bruna?
There is something that happens to me is that every time I'm in a risk situation, I freeze, you know. So once I was doing something here, and like I was I don't know, like removing the paint from the wall, and it started to be on fire, but like it wasn't a huge fire, but a little bit, you know. And I froze, and then my brother like, Bruna, like do something, you know. So I think I don't deal well in risky situations. Like I think I would freeze, you know. It's bad to say it, but I think when we are talking about money, it's something you can do it like faster, you know, like you don't need to act suddenly, you know, like the decision can like usually has more steps, you know, so you have some time to get ready to open the bank account or to go to a place to take money, you know. Like when we are in a risk situation, like I don't know, the house is on fire, someone is drowning, you know, like this is something too quick, you know. So I think in these cases I wouldn't be able to risk my life. But when we are talking about money, I think I would. My parents, maybe my family.
This is a really great point, and I think it's so fast that it really depends of the person. If it's a person who reacts fastly or if she reacts slowly, I think that maybe in some sort of situations I wouldn't be able to react so fastly. Like if someone points a bullet out of you in front of you, it's something really it causes us adrenaline, it causes a lot of fear. It's easy to say, but when it comes to really living it, it's not that easy, right? And what about you, Melissa? What do you think?
Yeah, Bruna, you are not alone. Because I'm sorry. I would feel the same. My reaction is to freeze. So I wouldn't be able to choose risking or not risking, take the risk or not taking the risk. I would be frozen. So, you know, that's my reaction too. So it's hard to say. And about money, I think I wouldn't put my life at risk for money. You know, as you said, we have more time to think about it. It takes more steps. So I do believe I wouldn't put my life at risk for money. But in a dangerous situation, like Bruno said, I would freeze and stay with her together there, you know?
Oh, and about the money thing, we have to be careful too, because we are living in an age that we full of scams and full of this is actually a nice topic to talk about in the meeting, because it's really getting harder for us to really perceive which is a scam, which is not. So we have to be careful, right?
Yeah, and like the scammers are getting better, right? Like they know how to do it, so it's hard, yeah.
Yes, yes. I know it's not a topic, but I saw a scam these days, which was a scam that works like this. It was an old lady that she started to scream in front of her house that her husband was injured and she needed someone to help her. But actually, the lady didn't really live in the house, and the neighbors who saw it, they were like, how to say desconfiados? They were like not really believing the situation. They saw a truck in front of the house, and they got a little, like, it's really strange situation, and they said, oh, we're going to call the police, and they didn't leave the house because suspicious, right? They thought it was really suspicious and didn't leave the house and say, we're going to call the police. Oh lady, you can stay calm and the police will come here to help you. And then what happened was the old lady and 5 guys came out of the bushes and entered the truck and left. There was nothing happening in the house. It was only a scam. So it's, it's
Yeah,
getting
that's
hard for us.
yeah.
Even old ladies involved, it's getting really hard. But the next one, are risk takers more successful in life? What do you think, Mel?
I don't think so. I don't think one thing leads to another, you know. It might have successful people that are risk takers, of course, but I don't think it's something mandatory. You know, you are more successful because you take risks. I think you may be a very successful person, but very conservative, you know, an analytic person that calculate the risks, the losses, and still be a very successful person, you know. So I think one thing is, it's not mandatory, you know.
Right, I agree with you. I think there are people who are taking risks that maybe will not be exactly successful.
Yes.
But I don't think they're really that related. But I think that in life we have to take some risk in order to have some sort of improvement and evolution. Like if we stay only on the comfort zone, we won't be able to see what we can achieve. So I think it's really depends.
Yes. Yeah,
Uh,
you're right. You're right. It's something to think about. I think it's something to balance, you know, to analyze. You know, if I stay here, what I'll be missing, you know? Yes.
mhm, exactly. What do you think, Lindy?
Oh, I think no. That's oh, take risk takers. Most risk takers. Not even successful, but success people in any moments take risks, big risks, maybe. But take risks not mean successful is different.
Right. What about you when you said you in your work you had to take risks? Did you feel fear? It was uncomfortable for you, or to go out to search your life? Was that uncomfortable? You thought that oh my God, like, I'm achieving something?
Maybe depends. Depends situations, uh, size of risks, and who be perjudicated with if the barriers happen, or the pior,
The worst.
the worst happen.
Right.
If it's only me, okay, but if my family suffers,
Right.
it's bad.
And you, Bruna?
That's a really good question. I must confess I don't know the answer, but Eliander said something nice about for sure successful people have already taken a lot of risks. You know, this is a point. But at the same time, when I read the question, I started to think that sometimes if you take too many risks and you don't think, it can be complicated too, you know, because you're not taking into consideration sometimes other people or the situation, the environment around the moment, you know, around the thing that is happening. So at some point, I think these things don't go necessarily hand in hand, you know. They can be together, but I don't think it's something that it will always happen, you know.
Great point. Great point. I agree with you. The eighth question: what risks have you taken that have gone wrong or worked out properly? Do you have? Can you go first, Eliande?
Oh, if properly, in other words, is propriamente.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. The creating chickens is a big risk if I take, and I left this, and I stayed with the debt in bank, but I can solve this in a few months. In the end, that is okay, but in moments it's very hard, very hard. Anxious, depressions, very difficult moments. But after we love this.
Great. Yeah, sometimes it gets a little sense of rewarding, right? Sometimes when the risk works out, like, oh my God, I take a risk, but that worked, and it's a little bit nice, right? For me, when I like to travel alone, and but it's a little bit risk taking, because especially when we talk about traveling to other countries, it's you never know what can happen, the situations that can happen, and sometimes it's not really easy, and can be risk taking, like having troubles with getting to places or talking to people. All of these things can happen, and they will certainly happen. Like all the trips that I've done, they happen, those problems. And it's risk taking, but when you really, you can when worked out, like I said, it was rewarding. Like even I was tired, or like I like in long trip journeys that got long because of knowledge. Like I didn't know exactly the way that I had to do, but in the end it was rewarding. So I think it's a risk that I consider. And what about you, Melissa?
It's very interesting you mentioned traveling by yourself, because I have this same experience of traveling by myself many times, actually. And it's interesting because I've never looked at these situations like risky situations. Quite the opposite. I don't feel this at all. I plan my trips. I take the trips, and I'm thinking here, and I can't remember of things going wrong. My experience is the opposite of yours. Like I've been to Europe, and there I remember getting there for the first time by myself, being in a country I didn't know, but every time I needed to go to a place to find the hostel, to find the hotel, to eat, or to take any kind of transportation, everything worked very well. I I didn't have problems, so it's interesting, I can't remember anything that went wrong and I felt bad and I had to struggle to get somewhere or had a bad experience. Really, for real, I can't remember. I felt very secure. I felt confident, and I only remember things going well, the places I went and transportation and taking the subway and talking to people and finding places to have lunch. They were always good experiences for me with no problems, no issues. They were like, I can risk saying they were easy, not problematic. So it's very interesting you said that. Very interesting.
Nice. It wasn't
Yes.
all risky with my experience. Some things got really well, but I had some trouble like with internet connection or with wrong ways that I had to look in the map and say like, oh my God, I'm going to the wrong way. And so I had a little bit of problems, but nothing like, oh my God, wow, I'm going to die. No, nothing like this.
Oh,
Little
thank God. Yes, but
And
it's
what
very interesting because you asked about taking risks, and I can't see those trips I took as taking risks. For me, it's something planned before. So I feel secure when I go, even being by myself, totally by myself. Very
my
interesting.
next trip, I'm going to call you and you're going to help me plan the trip because
Okay.
no issue.
Okay, yes. Okay,
Nice.
yes.
What about you, Bruna?
Yeah, I was trying to think here. Maybe something silly, but I really can't think of anything. There was a tricky one. I Every time we talk about adventure or risks, I don't have much to say because I've never experienced anything too different, too like huge, that made me. Maybe a risk I took when I was younger was playing sport. I don't know if this is too risky, but I was a goalkeeper, and being a goalkeeper is about taking risks. Like the ball can hit you at any time. And once I used it to play the practice was at lunchtime, so we had the training, and then after it we would have classes. it was my first year playing, and I was defending the ball, and the girl decided to kick it, and it went to my face and hit my eye, and that was terrible. So I think being a goalkeeper is about like taking risks all the time. And well, at least it wasn't a goal, but I had my eye injured for some weeks. I needed to go to the hospital and everything. I couldn't see anything on this eye. I got really scared, like, am I going to be blind? But thank God, after some hours, I started seeing things again. It was just an injury in the, I forgot the word even in Portuguese, retina, and then things went well by the end of the day, and my eyes are good now. That's it. It was crazy.
It's funny because sometimes we don't think about that something can be risky, like sports. As you said, we probably didn't thought like, oh, playing it was football, or what was the sport again?
Futsal, yeah.
Futsal. You probably didn't think like, oh, this risky. No, we only realized when something bad happens, like when we get injured or something like that, right? And next, do you answer it, Alinda? Yes, right. The next one. What risks are there in your normal daily life? Are there in your normal daily life? Um, I don't know. I have to think a little bit. Eliende, you want to start, or someone want to start?
I think I don't have much risk in my day. No risks in normal day.
And you, Melissa, do you have some?
Yes, I think I don't have risks either. I've been thinking here, but as I said, my job is quite the opposite. I can only do what's written in the law, so I can take risks. And apart from that, no risks.
And you, Bruna, do you
Yeah.
have?
I was trying to think here. I go to the gym every day. I'm really afraid of falling from the treadmill when I'm running. When I'm carrying heavy weights, I am afraid of it like falling. Like last week, it fell on my feet, and my toe is not black. Yeah, like black, not black, but it's like purple. It's a bit weird. But falling from the treadmill is definitely something I consider a risk. Like when you are running and you are tired, like, okay, maybe I need to slow it down. Um, I don't know. I think we're all like, every action we take, um, everything we say, it's a risk. I think because we are interacting with other people, and we don't know how they're going to react. So we always need to be careful with the things we are saying. But besides this, I think taking a bus is a risk. Being on a car is a risk. Um, Taking the elevator. So all these things are risks. But I think we get used to some stuff. Like of course we have some security strategies, but like to avoid accidents or to avoid danger. But at some point they are there. That's it. But
Exactly. I think that we get so, it's like you said, we get used to it, we don't see the danger anymore. But everything we do, or most of the things we do, it can be dangerous because we don't imagine like what the things that can go wrong. And there are even like professions who does that, like security and professions concerned, who they have to think about these accidents and concern to make strategies to prevent this to happen, right? It's totally blowing mind. But I remember in the gym I have this problem too. Sometimes I have to leave the weight, and I have a fear to fall out. But you said a word that I don't know. It's treadmill. Treadmill.
Treadmill, yeah. Treadmill is like where you run on the gym, you know, in the gym.
Right. I didn't know.
Let me type it.
That's nice. I think we have
Yeah.
a little bit of time to answer the last question, and will be a great achievement because usually we never had time. The last is, only a person who risks is free. Do you think that is true? It's an interesting phrase. I think it's a little bit of freedom, taking risks, and I think it's a little bit true, but I don't know if only taking risks is the way to freedom. What do you think, Lindy?
All persons take risks. Only change is the size of the risk, but the risk exists at all moments.
Right. And you, Melissa, what do you think?
I don't think only the person who takes risks is free. You know, I think if this person only take risks, you know, she'll be inconsequent, not smart, not successful. You know, you don't think about the consequences, the side effects, anything. So you are inconsequent. You know, you are not clever. So I don't think taking risks is necessarily attached to being free, you know, and also successful. I think you can be free, you can feel yourself free, not taking risks every time in everything. You need to be careful about some kinds of things, be bold with other kinds of things. It's all a matter of balance, I believe.
Right. And you, Bruna?
Well, Mel said really nice stuff. I couldn't agree more. And I think also taking risks and freedom is about making decisions. And I think at some point they I don't know, the person who risks is free. Yeah, because maybe at some point, if you are so afraid that you like block yourself and you don't face stuff, you know, so you're not free because you are afraid. So at some point, I think it's true, but I agree with Mel that if you risk too much, you can be inconsequent, you know, like something like this. I think it's not that positive.
Right. So I think we've come to the end. I will send you guys the survey so you can give a feedback. It's totally anonymous, and you can write whatever you want and suggest other themes too. But I would like to know, what do you think about this topic? If you enjoy talking, what did you guys thought?
I thought it was a very interesting topic to talk about. I like it.
Yes,
Great.
I think I've never talked about it, just in the Spanish, but I was watching, I think, and it was really interesting. You know, it's good because I think I could see other perspectives, you know. It was really good.
Oh, this is the best immersion that I participate. Beautiful English. I enjoy this immersion.
Thanks. I'm really happy. Yeah, I really enjoyed this topic too, because I got some insights that I didn't know, like risks are some things that we cannot even imagine. But yeah, it was really fun to talk about it. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
you.
See you. Bye.